everyone, and thank you for coming again to Deb Chanel's 48's World. And today we're going to do something different. I was looking at soap operas today, and I was like, I've never covered a soap opera on my channel. And it definitely has been out for a very, very long time. And I'm talking about in the 80s. So let's go on and talk about Bold and the Beautiful. Have you noticed that you can basically leave soap operas for about 6 months to a year, and then you can catch back on it within a day's time, on as long as you got the characters and their parts. And usually when you're on a long time um, running soap opera, the main characters usually stay the same. So you kind of remember their characteristics and the role that they're trying to play. And child, you can catch back up on the soap operas. Been gone from seeing them on a daily basis, and say you haven't watched them in 3, 6, almost a year's time. You can catch right back up on them within 1 or 2 episodes. It's crazy because I know I haven't seen the soap opera since I've been working, and since I haven't been working since the last part of January. I was like, wait a minute now. Okay, that's where we at. And that's his child now. And he don't remarry her. Well, what the son have to say about that? Well, all right then. Well, when did he come in the picture? That's pretty much how we be. And we be don't come back up on him. But anyway, let's just go on into it. We're going to cover Bold and the Beautiful. And as long as I'm at home doing my thing with this YouTube and other little adventures I done got myself into to kind of make some money, girl, sir, we're going to go and watch this Bold and the Beautiful, and we're going to continue to cover it on my channel. All right, let's talk about it. Here we go. The setting comes in when Deacon and Quinn are at a neurologist, and he's, done called in some favors, and he is the ultimate guy of many faces, many talents, and he know many people. So he goes around, searches out for a neurologist. He comes across a particular guy he had dealt with in the past from a friend of a friend. So he gets Quinn and takes her to the neurologist so she can like ask her ask him certain questions about a fictitious family member of hers. Now, of course, we know Liam. Everybody know Liam. What's his name? Um, God, I can't think of his name right now because he hadn't been featured in a while. Um, God, Bill Spencer. That's what I'm trying to say, guys. Bill Spencer. He's Bill Spencer's son. And so, Liam is the missing guy. He was supposed to have been just taken back from Stephanie, or Steffi, as they call him, Rich Forrester's, um, I guess, oldest daughter. Well, she was a twin with another sibling, but she died, named Phoebe. We ain't gotta go that far back. But anyway, she's going around. Liam basically he can't keep nobody. He can't. He get involved with a woman, and then when another woman come pass him by, he gets tired of that particular young lady he's with, and he started trying to form, another relationship. Pretty much like Ridge. I don't know why Ridge wasn't his son instead of Thomas. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's try to stay on track. But anyway, Liam is this little guy that been in several relationships with prominent, influent type women. He was there with Brooke's daughter. That's how he came into play in the picture anyway. The lost son of Bill Spencer. And that brought him in, and Hope was the cause of it. Hope's not here no more. She's in another country doing her thing. We ain't gonna bring her into it. So he ended up falling for Steffi. because Hope was playing around, or second guessing his love for her and this, that, and the other. So Stephanie saw him. She swooped right on in, married him, and I think they married about 2 times to the same guy. But anyway, that's neither here or there. Anyway, Liam got involved with another um, Forrester um, sibling. So that's 3 women, a Bermuda Triangle as we speak. But the only person that was able to get him to the altar, even though she kind of manipulated him in the situation, was Stephanie Forrester, who's the only one that married him, even though he was fooling with Hope Forrester, or Hope Logan Forrester, um, Steffi Forrester, and then what is her name? Oh Lord, can't think of the child name right now for nothing. Want to call her Penelope, but it ain't Penelope. That's on what's that show? Criminal Minds. I can't think of her name. But anyway, she was a cousin of Stephanie, as well as what's the child name? Damn, I just forgot. Um, Hope. But anyway, to make a long story short, he fell for this young lady that was from Australia. He ended up making sure she got back home because she just kept having tragedy or violent incidents happen to her while Steffi was involved. So he like, no, let me just make sure you get on the plane and we're gonna take you back over there. I might remember her name, but we just gonna say Australia chick before we end this little segment of my review for Bold and the Beautiful. So he gets her over there, and he has 2 incidents on the airplane where he gets knocked unconscious. So that was pretty much the state of his losing memory and all of that. But anyway, the main reason why he had escorted this young lady because his fiance at the time was Steffi Forrester, and they just kept having difference of opinion, and every time something would happen between the two, this young lady would end up getting hurt. So this Australian girl, and so it was just enough was enough. Liam really wasn't interested in her anymore. He had chose Steffi. So it was pretty much a back and forth situation to where it had gotten like totally hyped up, and she just pretty much couldn't take it no more. So she just ousted herself out the situation, or really pretty much ran out of town because didn't nobody really want to fool with her no more because she was flipping, flopping between brothers, which was Wyatt and Liam. So basically, they got her to go home. Liam escorted her. Steffi didn't like it because they did have a blow up about him escorting her back home or him taking her side when the incident had came up where again Steffi was involved with getting her hurt in a sense. Not intentionally, but you know how emotions get, you know, hyped and people want to get hands on with one another and things happen. So, um, when he finally got back home to explain everything to Steffi, Steffi was in bed with his brother, Wyatt. But he did not know that they basically just had got drunk. They were just being emotional with one another. And they just fell asleep. It was pretty much innocent. But knowing that the attire that they were in, they were both inside of the bed. He couldn't see that they did have on all of their apparel, even though Steffi had gotten into some sexual lingerie and all this kind of stuff. But she has no fears about her body, and she pretty much don't care who see it because she's that open with everything, and she's aware of her sexuality and her sense of you know voluptuousness, and she don't mind showing her body. She don't care if it's with her husband, her boyfriend, or whatever, or just a friend. And she was feeling emotional, and Wyatt was there to comfort her. So it was an innocent scene, but if you were on the outside looking in, you probably wouldn't thought it was innocent. You probably had a lot of different emotions going through your mind too. So to speed up the situation there, Liam was just sitting there in a rocking chair or a little chair watching them sleep in the bed. And it just everything just ran through the boy's mind. He was like, forget this. I'm not gonna be bothered with you, no more. Just going on emotions, not really just saying. And of course, we know this is a scripted type of scenario. It's not a reality show. Everything is just already set in stone. But for you to play this role, this is how you need to play it, play by play, and just let everybody just get involved in emotionally and put it on screen. And so pretty much he was like trying to throw hints at Steffi about everything, but it was just like, well, whatever. Don't matter. I'm gone. I'm just tired of the whole thing. So somehow the incident happened where he fell out again. And so and behold, there was Quinn. So Quinn basically has kidnapped this young man, took him to a cabin that's way up in the mountains somewhere, isolated, and she called herself nursing him back to health. And her reason for doing this was basically she was trying to keep him away from Steffi so her son Wyatt can have a love with someone that's affluent, comes from a nice background, family dynamics are great, and just for her son to have somebody that significant with everything going on for themselves that she wanted to pair her son up with. And Liam was just getting in the way. He's always gotten in the way of her son's happiness. So, fast forwarding, just keep in mind that she has gotten herself emotionally involved with caring for Liam to where they have already slept together. I know, right? Her arch nemesis. She ended up sleeping with him and falling for him and seeing this other side of Liam. Because prior to that, he was just like, the gum underneath her shoe, a parasite, just an unwelcoming presence for her. So she's having her own little emotions about everything. But she still has the psychotic side to her. So she done nursed him back to health, but he still hasn't had the medical treatment that he needed in order for him to get back to his normal functioning with his brain because he, had, like I said, had some head trauma. For a while and hadn't been addressed. So he's basically trying to force himself to remember stuff. He's not falling out and being dizzy. He can be left alone now for limited amounts of time and allows Quinn, which is she calling herself Eve, to go out and maintain her life on the outside while she has this fictitious life that she's living with Liam undercover, um, and enjoying herself like they're in this bubble type world where no one can touch them, and she can have her own fantasy with him and play, you know with him because he's pretty much in a fantasy world himself because he don't know himself. He don't know who he is really. He has no recollection of any past memories, only present and future. And at this time he's loving he's loving the woman he has grown to hate, with two failed relationships that she had been involved of sabotaging. So um Deacon pretty much had knew about what she was doing. He was helping her, and up to this point now, he has taken her to see a neurologist so she can ask the neurologist um, pertinent questions about Liam's condition and whether it's something that will be permanent or is it something that he can retain back or he will retain back his memory if he's getting the proper help and treatment. So she was like, but her main idea for going to see this specialist, that a neurologist that Deacon had set up for her to speak with on behalf of her friend or family member she's trying to claim, um, he set up the appointment for her just to get those clarifications that she needs, that he would never recover his memory without proper treatment and being diagnosed with, having amnesia to a certain degree. So she's feeling very confident with that. And, the doctor's pretty much like telling her, but, I can only really say so much because you're only giving me so much to go on. But there's many dynamics that needs to take place before he can actually give her a proper diagnosis. So she's just happy with the results of what basically he had told her about it. And Deacon's on the other side, because in between the past, we're going back in the past, they had a whirlwind relationship and stuff, and they fell in love with each other because of their kookiness and weirdness and wildness. But they soon after got it annulled. I think they may have stayed maybe a month together, if that. And they just resolved there, or they separated for a while. Now they're really putting it on paper as a disillusion type marriage. So um, just giving you a little feedback. And then the scene moves to Stephanie and Wyatt, and they're both in in her office, which is the president's office, which used to be Eric Forrester's office, then Ridge Forrester's office, then Rick Forrester's office, and in between now, I think it was Brooke Forrester's office. So they're keeping it in the family, but they have no idea of who they really want to control the company. So I'm just gonna say everybody control the company at this point, and pretty much has already, always have, with no really firm leader except for the father. And then you had Ridge, but then they had this little thing with Massimo being his true father. We don't want to go back that far. You just need to catch up. But Wyatt is sitting there telling her it's Wyatt and Steffi in the president's office, which at this moment she's considered. Her father's really considered to be the president, but she's there acting as such. And she's just still lost and overwhelmed that Liam has left her in such a predicament, because basically, like I said, they were engaged to be married, but after him seeing um hold on. Yes. Hello. What you want? Okay, bye. Chauncey, go open the garage door. Okay, I'm sorry about that. He's basically telling her, don't worry about my brother. He is what it is. Which I ain't never understood that with some people. Maybe it's just the rich and affluent people that do this kind of stuff. But usually, normal, everyday people, hard-working citizens, um, when you're gone out of sight, out of mind for at least a couple of days and you ain't contacting nobody, we calling Amber Alerts, we calling missing persons, we doing some of everything. We putting you behind on news. Now, I've never had to be privy of that type of life, so I pretty much don't know what that feels like to be absent and nobody really try to look for me. Or is that a normal thing just for the rich and famous to just disappear for a couple of weeks? Maybe send a few texts here and there just to kind of alleviate any thought that it may be a problem. And if you look at news every day, people do this stuff every day. You know, huh? Yeah, they said open up the garage. Well, maybe they in the subdivision pulling up. Okay, sorry about that again. And so basically, let me show this though. Yeah, Mama just called me. Now hush. Boy, I tell you, you just can't have no time. Go barricade yourself in your office. You still got people worrying. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Okay. You have Wyatt and Steffi in the office. As you all know, if you were watching the stories yesterday, Caroline had her baby. Now, Wyatt and Steffi are concerned. Mostly Steffi's concerned because she's trying to figure out why in the world Liam knew his cousin was pregnant. He knew the many months that she was pregnant and that she was giving birth real soon. They've texted him, told him, hey, your cousin has had her baby. Why haven't you called her? Why haven't you sent her flowers? Why haven't you made your presence known? This is not like you. Of course, Steffi is the one that's really being over dramatic. because she still has feelings for Liam. And if Liam walked through that door or, came to the hospital to see his cousin or even came to the home where her cousin is now at because the baby's born, everybody's gotten checked out, um, gave good health, so she could go home from the hospital and recuperate with her and the baby. So the concern was, why haven't, Liam, where the hell is Liam? And I'm like, again, like I said, isn't it time to put out arrests or warrants or something? Missing persons report? But they're like, oh, he needs some time. He needs to develop from the loss that he's had. Dog, I just thought of that person name and it slipped my mind. Anyway, um, he's fine. He'll be here home shortly. Just give him some time. Never knew of that. Never. Only in TV land that would happen that way. Okay. But anyway, you know, Wyatt's trying to say, Liam's always been selfish. He's always been about himself. It's always been Liam, 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 Liam. So don't worry about it. Let's just think about us. Let's think about getting married. And again, Wyatt is always getting sloppy seconds. He's a upstanding, very nice young gentleman, very intelligent, but he can't seem to measure up to Liam. And I don't know why, because if you look at both of them, 9 times out of 10, you would gravitate towards Wyatt. But I don't know. I digress. It is what it is. But anyway, he goes on to reassure her, and she don't want to talk about it too much more. So then the story switches to Liam. He's at the cabin. He's looking at photo albums. And of course, Quinn has taken all of the photo albums that Steffi had, and she's transposed them or photoshopped them with her particular photo in it. Because they kind of look alike, give and take a few attributes, but facial attributes. But somehow she designed it to where she's marked off or taken off Steffi's facial features in the photographs that her and Liam took when they were married and put her face on them. And Liam's, for some reason, he's not the wiser of any of it. So I'm like, oh, okay, nice job. But nothing really jogged his memory except for a veil picture of um, Steffi that, of course, Queen had photoshopped. And he was kind of like, he's looking at the motorcycle. And you could see things trying to somehow connect, but it still had a disconnect to it. And he was getting frustrated and stuff. So then the scene moves back to Quinn and Deacon being at the neurologist's office and still talking over, um, the scenario situation that Quinn is trying to portray to the physician without even having a patient there, even without having previous medical records to look over and review, and even just having the freaking patient there himself. I've never heard of such a thing. Never heard of such a thing. Because everything is just hypothetically being based on from his opinions and this, that, and the other. So, basically, she was just trying to look for the doctor or specialist to tell her, look, Liam, this patient, this family member, whatever, from what you're telling me, I can't 100% tell you verbatim that this is going to be the end result. Meaning, the what you're describing, no, this person is never going to regain their memory back or their past memory. They're just going to be lost, and they're going to have to be caught up or just taught to be comfortable with who they are and learning those attributes and go forward. Meaning, it may come back, but it's just a 99.9% that no, they will not recover from the concussions back to back with no treatment being involved. It just may be a total loss. So he's pretty much speculating that, okay, no, this person's not going to gain, any past memories. So he's going to have to deal with it. So, Quinn's just like, smiling from ear to ear inside. And, it's just, and Deacon just like shaking his head like, Quinn, you cannot get away with this facade. You have got to release Liam from that isolated cabin area that you are holding him hostage in. You got to go to Bill Spencer, which is his father, and tell him what you have done and beg for his forgiveness that he don't put you in jail. And she was like, it's not gonna come to that. I'm gonna keep him hidden. And they're going back and forth fussing, saying, well, how you gonna, you can't just, hide nobody like that. Eventually they are going to put a missing report out on him, because I'm at this time, I'm just in my own mind, my own speculation. I'm thinking the time frame has pretty much went over about a couple of months at the most. And he's right. They are going to come and say, well, this man hadn't called nobody, made a few texts at the first couple of weeks, but we're going in almost 3 months and we ain't heard from him. Don't he know he need to come home? Don't he know he need to get some change of clothing? He can't be just, have anybody checked his credit card to see if any spinach or any spending has been going on within his accounts. What's going on? So here's what you're trying to tell her. These people are not stupid. They may be um, engulfed in their own living and they're paying attention to their own world. But eventually they're going to pull up from all of that and they're going to be like, well, where is Liam? You know what I'm saying? And that's true. That is so true. But, she still don't want to recognize it for what it is, and it is what it is. Then they move on to a scene with Stephanie and Wyatt. They're still in the president's office, and Stephanie is still extremely concerned about Liam, that he wouldn't do this. This is not a part of his persona. This is not a part of his character. This is just not who he is. He's loving, he's concerned, and he's always there. He just don't disappear from the state that they're in and just go off all willy-nilly. He just don't do this. He would have contacted his dad. He would have contacted his cousin, the one that just had the baby. He would have contacted somebody. So, then in walks Crazy Quinn and her former husband Deacon, and they basically are just there to try to figure out, have both of them made their wedding plans, and have they solidified or set in stone a date, time, so they're gonna get married, so she can excuse herself from hiding Liam anymore. But the feelings are still gonna come out, is what Quinn is not understanding. Steffi is not the one that forgets about what she feels for a person. This, that, and the other. And she's gonna always backpedal when it comes to um, Liam, because it seems like all of them do that. Hope did that. I'm still trying to think of this girl's name. It's at the tip of my tongue. The one from Australia that was Mr. Forrester's brother's child. God, I can't think of her name. I want to keep saying Abby, but I don't think that's her name. That's not her name. But anyway, they always gravitate to Liam, and I don't know, just because he's like the good guy or the one who doesn't give up on a person. He's kind, all that kind of stuff. Um, and Quinn kind of know that side now because she's been with him. She's been taking care of him, and she sees the sweet side in him. But she just don't want anything to come between her son finally having the success in his career and the person that she feels would benefit him much more, which is Steffi. And she just don't want anything or anyone to come between that. So that's why she's still hiding him out and using him as her boy toy. And she's just saying, did you get this? Did you get that? Trying to make, little preparations for the unannounced wedding date or whatever. She's just trying to get them to speed up the date so she can, disregard Liam in some form or fashion. And they're just checking to see if they're still worried about Liam's whereabouts. And of course, Stephanie goes on and said, this, that, and the other. she's glad to have Wyatt in her life, and she don't know what she would have done without Liam leaving so abruptly, um, leaving her pretty much at the altar again or whatever. And you know, she's wanting to be his wife now. But like I said, soon Liam step back in the picture, all of this gonna go down the drain, and she's gonna want to get back with Liam and leave poor Wyatt out in the cold. And he the one that should be gone somewhere, and people should be looking at him because he done had two failed relationships that he tried, which is sloppy seconds from Liam to recoup. Which I don't understand why he always trying to go after women that Liam is seeing anyway. But it is how they're playing the story, and like I said, it is scripted. So they take us commercial break, and then they come back. We're still on Deacon and Quinn, and Deacon is trying his hardest to convince Miss Quinn that she cannot go on with this fantasy that she can keep this young man, hidden. And she ain't hearing it. She ain't hearing it. So pretty much goes on into Wyatt and Steffi, because they went on and just left out the president's office because they didn't want to be bothered with Quinn nor Deacon. And they went back to Wyatt's office where he was showing her some designs that he had put out, and that he had budgeted. He had got the budget to go down, which was saving the company millions of dollars in their world, um, with the project that they were working on, some jewelry line for the company, the apparel, to go with their apparel that they would normally sell as well. So, Steffi was like hugging him and kissing him. So, oh, they gonna love this. That's why they gonna love you. And you got the best fit for the company and this, that, and the other. And, and then he's happy about being able to save them a whole bunch of money and keeping them in the black. Um, but he's expressing to her too that since Liam has been gone, since they're still talking about him, that he feels bad that no one's is over there running the Spencer empire, in this particular division that he has Liam assigned to. So he's thinking that he might have to go and move his office space over there and work and design his jewelry and try to help his dad on the side, which I kind of thought that was a little bit nepotism and trading secrets. But I think Bill Spencer, his father, has some type of holding in the Forrester Company anyway. So it's just like everybody in bed with everybody, and all the money is still between two families, and it is what it is. So that's what he was trying to tell her, and she understood, and it doesn't seem like any infraction is going on as far as trade secrets being told, and no secrets being shared between the two entities. So she's wishing him well, um and because of course they still gonna come home to each other, so it don't make no big deal. So then the scene switches off, and then we're back on Liam and Quinn. And Quinn has gotten home, or back to the cabin where she has Liam hostage, being held up hostage, still out his mind, thinking he's supposed to be Adam and she's Eve, and they're just embarking on this newfound love that they had that they lost, which is all fictitious, and it goes for a fairy tale type storytelling. And he's playing the dutiful husband, trying to, maintain the house while she goes out there and make the bread or the money to take care of them. And, she just pretty much making a fool of him, and he's buying into it. And, which he has no choice because he don't really know who he is. So it's funny because Deacon end up showing up at the door, and, he runs to the door, and she's trying to stop him, and he opens up the door, and I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure everybody was thought he's gonna get a culture shock, that he's gonna recognize the face that was at the door, and he should, but he don't, and it's Deacon, and Deacon is thrown back like this joke is either acting real good or he really has lost his mind. So he invites Deacon in after he gets permission from his wife, which is still fictitious as we know, Eve, which is really Quinn. And he goes in, and Liam is asking him a few questions about how they know each other, how he know his wife, and da 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 da. And then Deacon goes in to saying specific things to him to see if it would jog his memory and make him go back into the person that he is known for. But he's still looking ghostly and perplexed and just out the space. And so he said, okay, well, fine, but I want you to come back so we can have our time together and we can talk, and so you can help me help myself and remember some things. And Deacon was all for it and stuff. And so evidently he's cooking for him and his wife, and the timer goes off, and he just excuses himself, and he goes back to the kitchen area. And then Deacon and Quinn huddle up, and of course she's asking him, "What the hell are you doing here? You're gonna blow everything." Da 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 da. And he's like, "Girl, you crazy? You need to end this. We need to get this boy back to his real family. Let them get him to the hospital. Work on getting his memory back, and pray they don't put you in jail." And da 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 da. And they was just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then they were doing some playback memory points of how Quinn can go back to her dark side, which anytime Quinn feels threatened, or she really feels that she has to do something to keep something hidden that's um, somebody's trying to expose, or she not pretty much know it's gonna be exposed, she goes into her other mode of thinking, which is like bipolar or schizophrenia, and she starts thinking about taking you out, literally killing you, taking you off the earth. So, I mean, it ain't no in between with her. It's either going to be one or the other. And usually she slides to the left, and that means forming a plan of action that she's willing to make the sacrifice and kill you. That's just how she thinks. Or a psychotic person think. But, they don't let her lose so many times. It just is what it is. And so, in her mind, she's doing a playback or pre-thinking, pre-planned murder on how she can get rid of him, because she really doesn't see a way out. And Deacon has already threatened her that if she doesn't tell about Liam and the situation of how he got there, he's going to do it. So she's thinking about taking Liam up to one of the little trails they take as far as walking in the forest and in the mountains. And she's thinking about pushing him off a cliff, child. Pushing him off a cliff. And she done made love to this man. She done got used to this man. This man done been whispering sweet nothings in her ear. And all that didn't change, honey. Ain't nothing changed. She just see him as a threat. So she gone in survival mode. How you say you push somebody up against a wall, or you don't push them to their last limit where they feel they can't do nothing but come at you, fighting with all they got. It's called like a fight or flight mentality. Psychological warfare you be playing in your mind. And honey, she just said, I love you. I'm glad I got a chance to see the side that every woman sees in you. But I'm going to have to kill you for my sake and for my son's sake. So she was like, okay, this is how it's going to play out. I'm going to either drug you or whatever. We're going to go on take our little hike. And when we get up to where I think it's feasible for me to push you off, and the only thing that's below is a bunch of rocks that you would crash into, pretty much be dead on the spot. And then, it just is what it is, and then that would take the presence of where you've been all this time. And if you do survive, you'll probably have bad trauma, head trauma, so you won't remember anything anyway. You'll pretty much be like a vegetable. So that's the plan of action she's taking, and she's playing it all out in her mind. So she done solidified it. This is what must happen. So I guess we'll be seeing little antics going on with her to that particular point. Let me see. And that's pretty much it, guys, for Bold and Beautiful today, which is March 11th, Friday, 2016. So just let me know what you thought about it. And for all the workers that are out there who's tuned to my channel, I pretty much gave you a play-by-play of what happened today. It truly was given to Deacon and Quinn. Just today's episode. Wasn't too much else going on, but Quinn pretty much trying to get out of the tangled web she has gotten herself into. So that's about it. Hope you like it. And tomorrow I'll be doing the same thing. Okay? Y'all have a great afternoon, and I will see you soon on the next reviews. Bye bye.